right, well, I will call the September 25th, 2024 Plan Commission meeting to order at 6:03 PM. All
Chance Kazmarski.
Here.
Mike Nervous.
Here.
Gary Ziegler.
Here.
Awesome. Jeff Larson.
Present.
Jared Wells.
Here.
Larry Enlow.
Here.
And Jerry Butts is absent. You have quorum.
Public participation. Public participation allows citizens to be heard on any agenda and non-agenda item. The public may also comment during the public participation section of each item. Planning Commission shall make no decisions or considerations of action of citizen comments for items not on the agenda except to refer the matter to the village staff for administrative consideration or to schedule the matter for Plan Commission consideration at a later date. The agenda was posted, correct?
Yes.
Minutes from the September 11th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for September 11th. Second that.
Anyone opposed? I'm sorry, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Position, moving along.
Can I just verify, was that Larry that gave the second?
Larry.
Okay, thank you.
Staff and consultant reports.
I don't have anything at this point.
Did I?
Okay. Presentation, Baker Woods Phase 3. So that's you?
Great, sir.
Right, outstanding.
Jeff Lincolnheld with Arc Design Resources. We're the applicant and representative for Petrie Trust 1989. This is our kind of our third meeting in a row on this project, and I don't know, I know you guys are kind of a little bit loose with Robert's rules. Is it possible to say the public hearing or my presentation kind of covers all the items we're going to talk about today, and we can ask questions of the audience members? I mean, I'm okay talking. I don't know that we need to do a separate public hearing and spiel for.
Yeah, so I set this up so you could do your presentation, ask questions now about the whole thing, and then we'll have to go through the actual public hearing part as part of the process, but.
Great. Well, I'm coming back to my normal spot, and I apologize to you folks that I kind of only have like the one set of outfits for meetings and you've seen me too much, but I did wear my Packers victory socks today. Right? So hopefully we can all be friends.
That's your own problem.
Let me see here. Okay. Just recapping, we've been here, this goes way back to 2020. We tried to get some development going on Baker's Woods Plat 3, which is across the wetland area from Plat 1 and that Jim Olson PUD area. Recently, we've been successful in amending the comp plan to include a multifamily area, a commercial lot, this street connection back into the commercial subdivision, the blue duplex lots, the green open space, and this brown area is kind of what we're focusing on today. This is our single family residential coming to you as a PUD development. Why? Well, because at our comp plan and zoning meeting, we were talking about generating enough land here so that we could cobble together a clearly defined 1 acre park space and our detention and the green space buffer for the neighbors. And in doing so, we've consolidated this street, which used to kind of come up and around here. We consolidated it south and are applying for a PUD in order to reduce our minimum lot width to 60 feet instead of 70 feet. I'm aware that Ian's working on some code amendments that, 2 years from now, might be the standard in the town, but for right now, we're using the PUD process to kind of get a little leeway on that. So we can maintain our what we need for lot yield to make the development viable and then give a little extra green space on the north end. Quick rehash. I did bring back, I had my guys print out, and this is a very it's not very colorful, but this is a portion of the prior Baker's Woods development. You can see this is the water well site. They had a street coming down here. It tied into this Bell West Boulevard. That street was continuing on and made the highway connection. And then this thing kind of looped around on itself. What we're changing is that we have the highway connection at the same spot, and we talked about this last month. This is the only spot that WISDOT will allow. So we are bringing it in and kind of splitting up the traffic so it's not just a raceway to James Avenue. So you kind of come around here and tee in, or you can come to this street and tee in, or continue on Bell West Boulevard. Just breaks up the, like I said, it's not just a straight shot to James through the entire neighborhood. So we kind of broke it up a little bit. That's kind of the land use. The scribble here is from the last meeting where some of the residents had asked where the tree line is right now. Our survey team actually surveyed the edge of the trees, and we had over 100 feet from the back of the lots and then 126 feet of open space to the backside of the Olson PUD. So talking about the tentative plat, which we're also here to discuss, it's really just engineering drawing of the zoning map that was colored. The apartment area, the multifamily, we're showing a concept for a projected density. We're not talking about that tonight. Detailed site plans are required. We have to go through this whole process. Once we have kind of landed on things, we haven't, we need some extra parking for visitor stalls. We may lose a few units, but we just showed something in concept so you guys can get the idea of what we're talking about. It's more like a townhome, like row house development that we're looking at. Single car garage, driveway in front. Each unit has its own front door, and everybody's owns all the way up to the roof. So there's nobody having a big party above you and jumping on your ceiling. The commercial lot, might be a good retail spot. I don't know, if we can lure some, restaurant or something in here, that's available for that. And really, it's kind of nice because it just kind of connects to everything to the west going down towards the Quick Trip. The duplexes are like kind of our buffer for the whatever business, office, whatever might happen up here. This red kind of denotes how we're getting our 1.1 acre park area, more or less. I mean, I guess I'll say at least that much. We may be able to get a little bit more next to the detention once it's final design, but the detention is south of there. The park's up here. I don't know, these probably were in your packets, but we did way back in 2020, we conceptualized a playground area and a shelter space so you can kind of see how much land area there is. And then, of course, the green buffer kind of goes from James Avenue really all the way down to Highway 92. And then inside here, the single family lots, which again, 60-foot width is really all we're asking for. They're, as opposed to the PUD you approved across the creek here, it's a full public street, full right of way, water, sewer, everything's in the right of way. Full front yard setback, full rear yard setback. We're just reducing the minimum lot width from 70 to 60 in our PUD. And I don't have an exact, like this is kind of like the kind of house that we would put on there instead of what Mr. Petrie builds now. A lot of, garages and then the house kind of behind it. Like in order to make the square footage, get a 2,000 plus square foot home, you're kind of building your second story, then builds on top of your garage. And my daughter moved into a house like that in Beaver Dam. I'm like, you got that big of a house and this small of a lot? So it's doable. The architect's working on some footprints and floor designs. That's just kind of an example. So, again, I mean, there's really not much else to tell. This right of way here will be, wider for the commercial. This to the south is wider. We know that the village's engineer, MSA, is going to be working on the highway connection plan. So we will just work with them and kind of have a match point. we'll probably design the road profile and then, stop somewhere just south. For our standpoint, the timing of the roadway connection is somewhat independent of our development as we can access everything for construction off of James Avenue. And I think you guys are also working with Francois to do something over here, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so there'll be this will connect through to the quick trip, and so kind of finishes the puzzle piece. So the reason I kind of brought this with me is, we had discussions last ZBA about, the parkland. Just reiterating, we know what the code is. We know what we kind of bought, something that was kind of pre-approved without without any dedicated parkland, and we're trying to create something here for the neighborhood. There's also something in Bell West. A couple of lots that are being developed as park on the far side of Bell West, so kind of on both sides of the development here on James Avenue, and really just like to move forward. I believe that we would finish the engineering this fall, get it all permitted this winter, and hit the ground running late winter.
Talked about front and back setbacks on those lots for the single families. What about the side to side? How close are they?
Side setbacks are the same. The 6 foot minimum, I think that you guys have. So it's the same side yard setbacks. It's just the actual lot width itself. We're taking from 70 to 60. And these buildings here are like, this thing here is like 40 feet wide. So it easily fits on a 60-foot lot. I think the setbacks are 6.
I have to look it up.
It sounds right to me, but yeah, I would have to double check.
Your sidewalk then?
It's 6.
Actually, yeah, you're right, because I just was doing some layouts in Bell West, and we had a big house on a skinny lot, and it was 6.7 feet. But so yes, there are public sidewalks, both sides of the street. All public streets have sidewalk. I don't know that we would actually build this. I guess we probably do have to build this sidewalk, even though it's in the commercial lot. That's to be just debated with the engineer. If we have the commercial guy build that, I don't know. Anything in front of a house or the multifamily or the park, we would build the sidewalks for sure. We will not be doing any park development. We will be dedicating the park space and the green space, and we will be paying the development impact fee per lot. So that you guys can add that to your fund and you can build the playground.
Anybody have any questions on presentation generically?
Yes, you call it a detention pond. What's the difference between that and a retention pond?
Excellent question. I probably misspoke when I said detention, because per Wisconsin DNR requirements, our best way to get the suspended solids removed from the stormwater runoff is to do a wet retention pond, which would be, a wet pond with frogs and stuff. We would make it deep enough that maybe I can bring the pole next time to come up. But that it would be a retention pond. So the normal water surface would be just a stationary bottom, and the detention would be above that water surface, but it would never dry down to be dry. That's what we're proposing right now.
Anything else? Do you have anything to add?
I'm here for questions from the committee, from the audience, from the client. Hopefully he doesn't have any.
Those we can move into the public hearing portion.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll sit down and be ready for it.
Right. So item 8 on the agenda, public hearing, 1989 TR LLC is requested to amend the comprehensive plan future land use map for Baker Woods Phase 3. local description was attached in your packets. Like to be changed from R-D rural development to planned unit development, also known as PUD district. At this time, I'll open the public hearing for the comprehensive plan amendment. I now open the public hearing for Baker Woods Phase 3 to change the planned unit development PUD district at this time,
19.
6:19. Thank you.
So the public hearing was published in both Postmaster Recorder on September 5th and September 12th. I've included the affidavit of publication. As part of the agenda packet, it was also posted at Village Hall, Belleville Public Library, and on the Village of Belleville website on Friday, September 18th.
Are there any visitors wishing to speak at the public hearing? Sir, go ahead.
Harry Bellice, 215 Bonning Lane. Jim Olson, Village West units over there. I just wanted to confirm that, and I think you already answered this question, but the squiggle here is the tree line?
Yes.
Okay, that's right.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And that's recent. After last ZBA,
Yeah.
I had to send our survey crew out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we documented that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? All right, again, this is the time for the public to provide input on the aforementioned topic. After the public hearing closes, the plan commission will discuss and potentially take action. So anyone else wishing to speak? Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
That's 3 times your good.
All right, I'm going to close the public hearing and any comments from the plan commission.
I guess I don't say question or comment, but my understanding is that the PUD is intended to literally only affect the lot sizes, but ultimately, and I don't know how to state this, but the roads are gonna be essentially donated to the village to take care of. It's not gonna be,
Built this.
it's not gonna be like a homeowners association that's responsible for
It's a
plowing
pub-
it. The village will basically
It's
do
a
it.
public street.
Because they're gonna be public streets.
Public street
essentially.
built to Belleville city standards.
Sure.
It's just like any public streets in the area.
I just wanted to confirm also for the public so they understand that this is part of the neighborhood is literally going to be like any other neighborhood. It's just the lot sizes are going to be smaller to accommodate
Yeah, I mean, really, there were,
higher density.
when we got down to the issue, it was, decreasing the lot sizes to be able to add more parkland, and we could do that 2 different ways, either with variance through zoning appeals, by just rezoning a PUD, to change the lot size to something that we'd already talked about at this committee. And in lieu of getting another committee involved and all that, I mean, we just decided to bring it back here with the PUD, so. But yeah, everything would be built to spec, and dedicated to the village like any other right of way.
And then the only other thing, which I think you had addressed as well, is the tree line, because I know you sent out surveys. I think, just to be clear, it's about 100 feet of trees in addition to
Behind the lot.
behind the lots that will still exist after construction, plus another buffer of whatever the wetlands and that space is further to the east of where these lots are.
Yes, so if you have a person's backyard lot line, and worst case scenario, they cut down every tree because they have a big fireplace.
Right.
Then from their lot line, there's 105 feet of trees, and then there's 125 feet of open space that can be cultivated into butterfly field or whatever. Or frankly, it'll end up being more trees as Mother Nature takes over.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My only comment is, and correct me if I read this wrong, it looks like we're still just shy of that 1 acre of desired parkland.
I took a little bit of a liberty because there was a piece of land dedicated with Bell West development that's up in this, kind of in this corner here.
Okay,
So this was actually, with Bell West first edition, they donated a piece of land that included some wetland and some upland, I'll call it. So I'm reserving an additional 0.8 that I can dedicate in my development. So I'm kind of cobbling both together to create the 1.1 acre park. South of there, I mean, is this line fixed, set in stone yet? Not quite. So, I mean, we definitely commit that we can make 1 acre of space that you guys can have open and flat and playable, I guess. But there might be an opportunity to get a little bit more to the south next to the retention.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? Yes, sir.
How did you come up with the area of the retention pond?
My engineer, Michael, has preliminarily sized it based on the development area, what the village codes are, what the DNR rules are. So we've got a preliminary sizing on it. We need to massage it a little bit. I think we kept the same size that we had when the street was a little bit longer, so it might decrease a little bit in size. But it will meet the requirements for DNR and village. I think it might be a little bit big right now, because I didn't go back and redo it after we ranked the lots and moved the street south. So that's why I'm saying we might have a little room to play with.
I like this plan much better with the park up there, almost an acre, maybe a little bit bigger, so
And it'll seem bigger too, because there's like
a lot of green space.
green space around it.
Any other discussion?
I have another question, probably a couple of them. In our previous meeting 2 weeks ago, there was a statement made that these were homes for young couples to get started with and senior housing.
I think somebody from the audience might have asked that. What we've got, we don't necessarily limit the market. Somebody had brought up that they thought that some of the young engineers from Epic would want to come and move into these townhomes. Remember, that was a discussion, and I made a joke about that they were Epic awesome
Oh, okay.
people. Yeah, so these townhomes are, yes, they're individual rentals, they're not necessarily like an apartment where you park out in a parking lot and walk upstairs to your unit. So you can pull in a garage, and these are what, 1,600 square feet, I think, Josh's things.
Roughly.
Yeah, 1,600 to 1,800 square feet. So they're pretty big. I mean, if you think about your first house, what was that? Maybe 1,000 square feet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still in it.
Awesome. I hope it's paid off.
Well,
So these things over here, these are duplexes. So again, 1,800 square foot, but side by side. Who would I think would be? I would think it might be kind of your over 55 type of market buying a duplex, but we're not necessarily marketing as a senior housing. And the single family stuff is really, I mean, it's just going to be the market 400 grand home, which, I mean, doesn't sound like a starter home anymore to me and you, but I don't know what you buy these days.
yeah.
There's plenty of people buying them though. Yeah, so it's gonna be just, there's really nothing in here that's like, hey, let's build 1,000 square foot tiny house and hope that, young couples can afford it. I mean, it's just gonna be a standard house. So if you have a younger person, they would want to be in this rental area down here or maybe buy a duplex, which would be one half of a duplex, right? So that might be what, 250? Still got 3 bedrooms.
So, excuse me, so you said those townhouses are going to be rental units, not condos? Those. Rental or owned?
Yes and yes. I don't know yet.
Right.
Open to all possibilities. Somebody did bring up, low income. I mean, we're not interested in doing any of that. I mean, the this same unit that he's got 6 buildings in Lake Mills over by Rock Lake, east of Madison. They're like renting for like $2,000 a month. And I'm trying to get my kid kicked out of my house. And I'm like, well, he's never gonna afford that. So there he lives upstairs in his bedroom. 24. Don't get me started on that.
Kids can't afford it.
No, I know, it's crazy. So even in Rockford, where I'm from, which I know Madison, you guys would like to look down on Rockford, it's still $1,100, $1,200 a month for just a kind of not very nice place. So these, yeah, I mean, the market rate is whatever it is. I mean, you can expect $1,500 to $2,000 a month rent.
Yeah.
Plus with that park up there, probably get more.
The duplexes, is the intent for those to be owner occupied or rental? Is the intent for the duplexes to be owner occupied or rental?
My client's done it both ways. In Waterloo, they were built and they were rented out, and then there was some momentum for people to buy them, so we condoized them and sold them off.
I'm assuming they're not gonna be that much different than what's on Brook right now. Which
Actually-
Brian bought some lots, I think, from.
Because hey,
Sorry.
I need to share this with you guys. Yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot. He sold these to the guy on Brook.
He did, okay. I was gonna say,
He's got a
I know
deal.
that there was
If
a
it's-
conversation
yeah,
happening
if
about
it's
that,
gonna-
but
If it's gonna happen, yeah, the guy on Brook is gonna buy it. So, I guess I'm just down to building the lots now, not doing the houses on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I forgot. He told me that. I was on vacation 2 weeks ago and he called me. Yeah, so I'm glad he brought that up.
Brian
So
pulled me over. He's like, do you have Petrie's number? And they're.
Yep.
I think so.
he's gonna, so yes, the guy who did the ones on Brook is gonna hopefully buy these, once we get it approved and the road built. So then really it's up to him. And I don't know, does he do?
He's doing the duplexes that are.
Does he
in
rental
Callahan right
or
now.
is he?
Most of them are rentals.
Okay.
He might have sold 1 or 2, but I think mostly rentals, but he does a good job taking care of them. I don't have any concerns about that.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
live right across the street from him, so.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I was kind of in the mode that we were always gonna be doing them for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else from planning commission?
I have a question.
Yes. Who's got their hand up?
Kevin.
Kevin Lord.
Kevin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect, thanks. Yeah, so I think my comments are probably in the packet and most of the comments were the same as what when they previously came up here, I guess. And I haven't had a chance to talk with Jeff about this. Most of my comments are all engineering related, so items that we'll address more through the engineering, as Jeff mentioned, and everything when things are finalized. The one comment I was gonna make is, so right now, the existing sewer, sanitary sewer that runs through there that goes up to the lift station, it was originally, when they originally came, it was planned in the streets right away. And now it's gonna be in the backyards of lots 110 through 113, which really kind of limits the size of those lots. One option I thought, and Jeff, you and I can talk about this is more, it's not easements and utilities land in people's backyards. It's not the end of the world that they are, because there is an easement there. So if anything ever had to be maintained, one other option could be, since they are relaying sewer in the streets, it could be possibly just kind of rerouted within the streets. That way they wouldn't have to worry about grading near it for the pond, and it might make the lots more valuable in the rear yards for a deck or something like that. Cause I think lot 113 is the one that gets really tight with it. So, it might be more of an engineering thing. I guess just kind of wanted to make note of that. That was the one change with the shift in things compared to what they had previously.
Yeah, he's correct. The sewer line was where the street was going to go until we pushed everything south for with the park issues. So we do have it in the backyards. We did plop some houses on there some footprints just to make sure that it would fit. And it does. What it also is a 40-foot easement, and through the final plat process, we were gonna talk to Kevin and Gabe and see if they, well, maybe it could be, 10 feet on the resident side could be taken off since you're gonna have free and clear on the backside, but that's all to be determined. It is possible that we could go from here and around. This is actually kind of like the main trunk line that was built, I think, to serve up into here to the Francois property.
Yep.
So we kind of, we've inherited where this thing is at, and we'll work with it, we'll work around it. But Kevin is correct. It went from being in the street to being through the backyards of these 4 lots. That's the current plan. If it can work and go around and that's part of your requirements, then we'll make it happen.
Anything else? Hearing nothing else, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 2024-04, approving an amendment to the comprehensive plan for the village of Belleville.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-04 to approve the amendment to the comprehensive plan for the village of Belleville.
Second.
Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Aye.
I'm
Opposed?
for it. I'm in favor. Sorry.
All right, that will conclude that item agenda. All right, the next one is another public hearing.
Just to be clear, so because we've done this like 3 times now, but I'll do it again anyway. The first public hearing was the comprehensive plan that we just amended with the resolution, or will eventually through when we take it to the board. This one is specific to the rezone application to change that to the PUD. So we have to change the comprehensive plan to say we allow this to be a PUD, and then we have a second public hearing specifically for their contract to the zoning. That's where we're at.
Anything else? Okay, doke.
Go through the script now.
Yep, we gotta do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, public hearing to hear again, 1989 TR LLC has submitted a rezoning application for Baker Woods Phase 3 to be changed from
Yep.
Yep.
RD
RD to rural development to planned unit PUD district. We'll now open the public hearing for 1989 TR LLC, having submitted a rezoning application, Baker Woods Phase 3 to be changed from R-D rural development to planned unit development district at 637. Posting the public hearing.
The public hearing was published in the Post Messenger Recorder on not September 5th and September 12th. I've included the affidavit of publication as part of the agenda packet. It was also posted at Village Hall, Belleville Public Library, and on the Village of Belleville website on Friday, September 18th. Sorry.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on this agenda item? Is there any member of the public wishing to speak on this agenda item? Is there any member of the public wishing to speak on this agenda item? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing at this time. The commission will discuss and potentially take action. Anyone, any comments, questions, concerns from the Plan Commission? Yes, sir.
On this information we got from the attorney, well, not the attorney, but from
Can I say?
gentleman up here. Anyway, down near the bottom, I'm looking at number 3. There's a statement that says proof of financing capacity pertaining to the construction and maintenance of public works, elements of the proposed PDs such as stormwater and detention. Then it goes to say the expected timeline for the PD process will take about 7 months. Is that accurate? Because if it is, this gentleman is going to be sitting there for quite a while getting it on the road.
MSA comments?
Well,
It's GEC.
This is Corey, the zoning administrator for the village, general engineering. So your ordinance for a PUD, it's actually a two-step process. Yes, the PUD zoning district is a zoning district, but there's a two-step process. The first step is the general development plan. There's very specific information in your zoning ordinance as far as the requirements for that. I could see that the GDP, general development plan, would fall in line with the preliminary plat process, which is, you're going through that approval now. The second step of the PUD rezone is that there's a specific implementation plan. I could see that falling more in line with the final plat. Now, you haven't done very many PUDs in the village. The last one was 2020 with Jim Olson and that senior development. I know there was a lot of questions when we went through that process, but that was a little different because that was one single lot and we had, detailed plans and layouts and issues and questions that we discussed on that. This proposal is more or less just taking the lots that are within a bigger plat, and adjusting the size, the width. And so that's, part of the plat process, but the PUD rezone is actually a two-step process, GDP first and then SIP.
So, if I can speak. So we know that we're here for the preliminary and we'll be back for the final plat, which will include our final engineering drawings. Kevin from MSA will have looked at them. We'll have our final house plans drawn up by the architect at that point for our final PUD. And if I gotta sit here through 7 months of meetings, tell me now because I gotta get another coat.
well, I'm just reading what I read on this piece of paper.
Yeah. I know that there's one more round for the final plat approval.
Right.
And, but I'm not even so sure that that part goes to the plan commission. I think maybe just the final PUD would come back through here. Just basically the little single family area cut out. Once we have, all the roads and we're just go right to the board with the final plat. There'll be like a giant hole in the middle of our plat that will need to be filled with that PUD. But it's all gonna happen at the same time because we're gonna design all the streets at once.
Well, just going from past experience, I think we will be involved because we have to make a recommendation to the board.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Sometimes some communities are different when it gets to the final, but I guess the larger point is, yes, we have to come back for this. But really, there's no HOA. Everybody's gonna own their own lot. So it's not like the one from 2020, behind us. There's no association, there's no private streets, there's no public lands that, we don't have to hire. If you want your driveway shoveled, you shovel it. If the street's gonna be plowed by the village, it's a public street. So there's not a lot of like attorney back and forth stuff. So that part of it's gonna be way easier than the other one you did.
Which pretty much just the lot sizes are less than
Yeah.
what our current zoning
And
requires.
like Ian mentioned, there was consideration to go to zoning board instead of plan commission, but he suggested if we do the PUD process, then all my spiel that I'm saying can just keep in front of the same folks and we kind of move it through on, just kind of through the same group. If I paraphrase you right, Ian.
Good enough.
Yeah, I think for the commission's purposes, again, the driving force behind this was the park space that we wanted, right? If we wouldn't have demanded the park space, we wouldn't have the same conversation. We would have had lot sizes that would have been within our normal requirements, but then we wouldn't have a park over there, which I think I would argue is much more important. Just, I know we're getting 2 lots in Bell West, but like that's two residential lots. It's not enough park space for that whole neighborhood. And we've had this conversation at the board level as well, but I mean, I don't fault Petrie or Jeff for this, but like we're kind of cobbling together park space from what we have available to us, basically. We don't have a lot of other options to basically purchase more land there because we can't afford to buy this whole development, turn it into a park, for example, isn't financially feasible. And I think the other option would be that you just wouldn't develop it. You'd be like, well, we're gonna stop. And I'm not sure that benefits the village either. So I think this is kind of the best solution that we kind of come to.
I'm in agreement too. I'm a little skeptical of reducing lot sizes in general. And I think if somebody hears it, then others will want to do it. But I think in this case, it is beneficial and it serves the purpose for the community and what you had to deal with. So.
And, I mean, maybe many of you weren't even on the board, but I remember back in 2020 doing the COVID meetings, you know, it was highly important for there to be this access point to alleviate Olson Avenue, to provide a connection to Francois, since he's kind of stymied down at Edison. So.
Yeah, this is a huge benefit for people going to Quick Trip on the west side, because this will take away the race route that is Olson Avenue to James, or to Torrey to James right now. I mean, it does get them past that new development there, but I suspect that most everybody would take that exit, take the immediate left and go straight out to Quick Trip.
My stance on this has been, I said last time, this is opinion, but that this has just become a poorly planned and poorly executed development on the whole. The fact that, you know, parks and things were overlooked, but at this point, I would just assume see it finished. And the village can appreciate the increased tax value, and then those funds can be used to improve other parks in the community, and we just move on and learn our lessons for future developments at this point.
I remember your statement from the first ZBA. That's why I printed out that old map. They're like, hey, you know, nobody planned a park 10 years ago.
And I wasn't around for that, and I get it.
Yeah, and I get it.
It's been a comedy of errors, and at this point, though,
We've cobbled something together.
we keep bringing you here and everyone else, and everyone's getting frustrated about it. We can also see the end.
Mhm.
So let's just cross the goal line. Like I said, appreciate the value that will add to the tax base of the community, and somebody take real good notes so we don't repeat it. So any other discussion? Not hearing any, I would entertain a motion to approve the rezoning application from 1989 TR LLC Baker Woods Phase 3 to be changed from R-D rural development to planned unit developments.
I'll make that motion.
Gary makes the motion.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes. We will move on to new business. Discuss and consider Baker Woods Phase 3 preliminary plat application. I assume that was covered in this. That's what this is.
Yeah. So we've changed the comprehensive plan now. We've fixed all the zoning, and now this is the preliminary. Obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into this before a final plat is approved. This is the preliminary plat.
This is where you guys discuss and consider the design. At least the layout.
personally don't really have any concerns relative to the layout, other than I think the sewage or the sewer connection and figuring that out, which I think is already the conversations initiated. So figuring out where that goes, I'd prefer to see it with the road because that just seems to make more sense, but also understanding it's not necessarily feasible. What happens? So,
If I remember right, it's super deep,
yeah,
which is the problem.
yeah. Which might not be doable, but that's,
Consolation, like, if anything were to happen with the sewer line, it would still be easily accessible, well, within reason. And I mean, we're talking about something that might happen every 20 or 30 years. So it wouldn't be that impactful.
just enough time for their trees to grow really big, so you have to tear down the.
Yeah, unless you own a property that it goes behind.
The tree roots grow into the sewer. Causes the problem. I too that'd be my preference too, to fortunately.
Yeah.
Sewer line.
Which might not be doable, that's just.
Above our pay grade, I think, but yeah.
When it's not a make or break, just because it was brought up, it seems to make sense to have the conversations. How feasible it is, but.
I think my greatest concern is narrowing the lots, pushing the structure itself to the absolute extreme of the ordinance. It's from a fire department standpoint, we're talking about lightweight construction, built very close together, multiple stories, the potential for conflagration, but I looked it up. We are falling just within international building code for distance and materials and things like that.
Maybe 20 feet apart, did you say? 10 feet on each side?
I mean, I've got a few of these. These are just.
If you push it to 6, you get them 12 feet apart.
Internet examples, I want
I
to
thought he said 10, but
qualify
maybe
that.
6 minimum.
I just want to qualify that these are internet examples and not necessarily that what we're ending up with. And I only brought 5, so you guys can share if you want. Just to give you a flavor, next share. Okay. So I'll give one to the staff.
Oh, thanks.
The building setback line is 6 feet. I just looked at some lot plans today for Bell West Phase 3. And so we've got a couple of bigger models. I've got 7 feet on either side and I make it work. This building here is, 40 by 40 roughly. So if you double that, that's like 3,000 square feet. I mean, obviously the garage doesn't count for your square footage, but you can easily get a house in here that's with the 2-story. You're talking about 2,200, 2,400 square foot house, 40 foot wide. So you'd have 10 feet on each side yard. And we've asked for a 60-foot minimum, but frankly, our smallest lot, our smallest one is these straight ones in here. These are 61. This block is 64. This block is 62. So we're not even hitting the minimums that we've asked for. And you'll approve this as a precise plan the next meeting. So, yeah, I think we're fine. As far as like meeting the setback code.
I don't love it, but it's within standard. Any other discussion? Not really we need a motion or anything.
If you need to.
I think you have to,
Tentative.
I do think you have to approve the preliminary plat.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a preliminary and you're not approving the final.
Any other discussion on the matter before I call the question?
I think the balancing act with this is, I don't disagree with you, Chance, but like, we have conversations regularly about affordable housing.
No,
This is on that end of the spectrum, arguably. So not that it's any more affordable than anything else is right now, but.
Frankly,
The Fed Act rates down 0.5%.
in Beloit, in Clinton, I mean, these are Wisconsin towns I work in. none of them have a 10-foot single family side yard setback. They're all 6. Some of them are like 15 feet total, 6-foot minimum. But you guys are right in line with like the norm. Not like you're like, oh man, we're, it's like crazy, the 6-foot setback.
In the townhome area, you've got, looks like one entrance at the intersection. Is there, and I'm a rookie at planning yet, so can there be another approach on around and get a loop?
We would like that, but I wasn't sure if Wisconsin DOT was gonna limit the distance to a driveway from coming out of the neighborhood. I don't know that.
I was just
Well, yeah,
curious if,
it would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they brought up for fire truck access, 2 ways in and out. I think the final plan of that is, TBD a little bit. It gives you a kind of an idea about how many units and about what the layout's gonna look like. Maybe we set it up so that we can, once the street's approved, we can put the driveway in after, I don't know, something. But yeah.
all right. Just curious. Anything else?
I would entertain a motion to,
So I just clarified this, and we're recommending approval of the preliminary plat to the board. That's the motion we're looking for.
entertain a motion to approve preliminary plat approval to the board.
A motion to recommend approval of the preliminary plat to the
Whatever
board
they said.
for,
Put words in your mouth.
say, PC 2024-07.
I'll second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, that moves along.
Great. Is the meeting Monday then? Board meeting?
No, next board meeting would be October 7th. Right?
It's the first Monday in October. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's 5 Mondays in September.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got another week.
Mr. President, should I be here for that? I'm supposed to be up north in Hayward taking my pontoon boat out.
At the party bar.
That sounds. I think we've talked about this. I don't think this is going to be a surprise to the board necessarily, so
I would,
you're certainly welcome to join.
we'll work through it. I mean, either he or his uncle will be here and,
I don't know
somebody
that
will be
it's
here.
going to be a heavy lift, but
yeah. If there's any.
meetings have surprised me before, so.
Yeah, I think I kind of get that gist. If there's any inclination of
I'm just being honest, that's the
No.
way it works.
if it might get a little bit sketchy, I mean, we could always go to the next meeting in October.
Yeah,
We'll keep working on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You guys have been pretty diligent about answering everybody's questions, obviously, since they're out tonight, so I don't.
I know, I wore them down.
No, but the information is helpful, right? I mean, I think the concerns were like the tree lines and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And I think those are viable questions and really did deserve answers. And we certainly appreciate that. So.
It's taken 4 years, but we're here.
Okay, well, we'll discuss internally, and if it wouldn't be on the 7th, it'd be on the 21st.
Yeah, for sure. And it'll probably be that we expect.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we'll make sure that
Yeah.
somebody's here. And
We've got quite a bit going on the 21st. It would be better if it was the 7th.
sounds good. These guys can just play dumb. That was our engineer said it, I don't. It's all on record. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Stu.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Any opposed? All right, meeting adjourned.
We got a vote.
7.
We got a vote.
Well, I kind of said any opposed. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Second, yes.
Yes.